gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Uncle AK.
Hey, and I'm Reflex. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm good, man. How you feeling?
That's my question to ask you. How you feeling?
I'm great, man. How you feeling?
I'm alright, man.
I see you all dressed up. What you dressed up for?
Man, I'm just trying to, say, act the part. They say if you look the part, you feel the part, you be the part. So,
yes, sir.
Man. It's a mindset. Hey, appreciate y'all checking this out on a weekly basis. This is Stuck in the Middle Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. You know what I mean? And hit the ringer, too, so you get updates on a weekly basis. Learn what we got going on. Check out the website, sitmpodcast.com. We got a blog session. We got merch going on. A bunch of stuff on there. So yeah, definitely hit us up on all audio streamers as well if you like to listen, on your drive. Do a screenshot, send it to your friends, help us grow. You feel me?
This episode is brought to you in partnership with Perfect Office Solutions, providing affordable, professional, flexible office spaces. You're starting at $4.99. Use promo code SITM Podcast to get you 10% off your monthly lease. Again, the promo code is SITM Podcast to get 10% off your monthly lease. Got a very special guest in the building, man.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this, bro.
Yes, man.
Man, this brother, his brother, he's dope.
Yeah, he's dope, man.
By the time this episode come out, he'll be in another country doing amazing different things.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Let him know who we got to build. Let's get this going.
He's the founder and CEO of Reginald Bullock, and he's the author. He's the author of a book that's going to be released July 27th. Or by the time this drops, it'll be released already.
So go on Amazon right now and copy that book.
Yeah,
man.
It's 0.0 GPA to six figures, man. Welcome, Reginald Bullock II to Stuck in the Podcast.
Yeah, the second.
The second, man. How you feeling?
Man, first thing I want to say is I want to just tell my wife how much I absolutely love her. Kai Christmas Bullock is the most amazing woman I have ever met in my life, and we're changing the narrative, all right? And so, they used to say behind every black man there's a strong woman. Well, we're changing the narrative because we're saying, next to every black man is a strong woman, because that's my ride or die. She right by my side. You know what I'm saying? So I want to start with that. But It's your boy, Reginald Bullock II. In the building, Stuck in the Middle Podcast. We here, we live, baby.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. That's dope. Who is Reginald? For those who don't know.
Well, Reginald is a king, okay? King Reginald II. All right, that's me, right? You know what I'm saying? I come from a long line of hustlers, a long line of kings and queens and warriors. And that's who I am first and foremost. So I'm an enigma. All right, I'm a lot of things. I'm everything and nothing at the same time. Right. So, we all have to have egos, but at the same time, be able to check that and remain humble and humble yourself and understand that nobody's bigger than the stars. Right. Like God is real. And so for me, although I am a king, although I am, all of that, I'm still, humble. And that's why, I love my wife to death, because, she'll never let me forget that. You know what I'm saying? You come home from a big win and it's like, hey, man, go ahead and do that laundry, man. Make sure them clothes is folded. You know what I'm saying? No, but, that's my baby. But, we can get into it. Whatever y'all want, man.
Definitely, you got a lot. So you're speaking of big wins, you got a lot going on for you. But definitely, just try and get to know you some more. You also part Native American.
Yes, I'm 50% Native American. My mother is Shinnecock Indian, from the Shinnecock Indian Nation in Southampton, New York. And yeah, so that's who I am. I spent pretty much half my life out there. My family would send me up, send my sister and I, Sinead Bullock, up to from wherever we were living. We would spend our summers between Philadelphia, Harlem, New Jersey, and then Southampton in New York. And so I used to dance. I have a regalia. I used to do fancy dance. I used to do grass dance. I used to do northern traditional. I used to do traditional. I used to compete. So I wasn't always the best dancer. My sister was actually the most amazing dancer. She really was. Her name was Dancing Butterfly. She did the Fancy Shaw. My Native American name is Brother Eagle. And so, yeah, we warriors and we also kings, man. You know, rest in peace to my grandma and my mom from Philly. Well, in Philly, you know, my family, the Bullocks is from shout out to all of the Bullocks too. I just want to say that before we get into it, man. The Bullock team Bullock is real, man. You know, my cousin just produced Tim Bose Bullock just produced the music for a first of all, he's a multi-platinum music producer, but in the meantime, I need y'all to get on Netflix and go check out Beats with Anthony Anderson.
Oh yeah, that's
my cousin did all of the production behind that.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? He got his start. He went to Morehouse, and he got his start on the Jeezy. Y'all know the Inspiration, right? Like that was his title track. He got his first platinum off of Womanizer from Britney Spears, and then he's worked with everybody in the game, and also he's worked with me.
So the Bullock family is winning.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, nah, for real. And then his brother, you know, David Bullock, I actually wrote about both of them in my book, but David Bullock and I, you know, one day when Flint, Michigan stuff was going on, I was laying in bed with my wife watching CNN, and I would turn the TV off. I was like, I couldn't do this anymore. So David was on the Preachers of Detroit. You can Google him on the Bravo show, and he's from Detroit. They both from the D. They from the D. Shout out to Detroit, and if y'all watching. But anyways, I called him up. I said, yo, cuz, you know, this Flint, Michigan stuff is breaking my heart. If I can bring 50,000 bottles of water out there, can we give it directly to the people? He said, yeah, cuz, make it happen. And so, long story short, me and my boy Muhammad Williams, we were working at USAID at the time, which is the United States Agency for International Development, as contractors. And we developed a business plan to ship the water, purchase water and have donations and ship the water over there. And they said that they wouldn't do it because it was a political issue because of everything involved. So I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this thing myself. And so Mo and I, we strategized together, and we basically organized and raised over $4,000 in 1 week in 7 days because it was an immediate thing. And so what I said was, if anything, they were saying on the news, anything that you can give is great. Yep. So I said, well, we need to give this now. I'm not going to wait till we raise 15,000. 7 days is the limit. However much money we raise in 7 days is what we rolling with. And then after that, I was working 2 jobs at the time. This was 6 figures, you know, whole thing going on. So I had a little change. So I financed, you know, we didn't raise our whole goal. So I financed the other portion of it. And then I also paid my brother. He's my brother, you know what I'm saying, of skin, but he's also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, you know. You know, and but anyways, that's besides the point. But that's my boy, Miguel Asua. He has this a videography company, and him and I have done extensive work together. And at that point, I said, hey brother, I need you. I'm gonna fly you out. I'm gonna buy you a plane ticket, and I need you to roll with me out to Detroit to film this thing because it's gonna be powerful. And so I paid. You know, I financed the whole thing, and then him and I, we flew out there, found a distributor in 8 Mile actually, and we actually shot a whole documentary on it. So go check it out on YouTube. It's Flint, Michigan. Just type in Auzaye, Flint, Michigan, and we delivered 50,000 bottles of water. It's a picture of me standing in front of a Mack truck. We actually escorted the Mack truck, and I rented a Suburban, so we escorted a Mack truck from 8 Mile to Flint, and we filmed the whole thing in a documentary. And the reason why we put it on camera was we want to inspire other people to, hey, you know, we just came up with an idea. We created something and took something just out of our minds and pulled it out. My brother Mo and I worked on the project management. Mo is a prolific brother as well. I mean, my team is strong, man. And we've been doing some amazing things for a very, very long time together. And, you know, the world may not have known it, but we didn't really care about that because for us, it was about delivering. It's always been about helping our people. And that's what we've been doing. I don't really need no attention to actually do it. But now I'm realizing that if I can get on a bigger stage, I can help more people.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And so that's what this whole thing is about. That's what the book is about. You know, the pursuit of greatness is going from a 0.0 GPA to six figures. I basically...
You really had 0.0 GPA?
Twice.
So you got kicked out of school?
No.
How do you get 0.0 GPA?
Well, I almost got kicked out of school. They Dr. Freddie Vaughns, rest in peace, from Bowie State University. He, man, yeah, rest in peace, man. That brother right there, I was in, after I got out of the hospital, if you've read the book, I'm not going to, hopefully go get the book. I'll give you a little bit. I ended up in the hospital for a week after just severe, I was wild. I had a nervous breakdown at 20 years old, and they put me in the hospital for a week. And this is after having a 0.0 twice. I went back to school. This was midterms at the time, and I had not been to any of my classes because I had my company, Auze, and I was out in the street hustling, selling my CDs. I was walking from Naylor Road. I was walking from the bus stop, the old Greyhound, down in First and K, down all the way to down to Anacostia, past the Big Chair, from up MLK, then up Morris Road, and from Naylor Road across Morris Road, then over to Naylor Road and Branch Avenue. And I walked, you know what I'm saying, every single day selling my CDs, and I was pressing them joints out on an iMac, just like the one that you have here, and I was burning them one by one by one, but I was hustling, I was making money. It just was a bad business strategy. It wasn't the best business strategy for sustainability, right? And this was the pre-Instagram era. It would have worked now because I could have like recorded everything and been like, yo, look what I'm doing. Next thing you know, somebody picks me up. Long story short, to fast forward to when I'm at the desk with this brother, and at that point, Dr. Freddie Vaughns was like, listen, bro, you I mean, what you doing? First of all, you got a 0.0, bro. What are you doing? You know, and obviously you're not doing anything. And academically, otherwise, and he was like, you know, at this point, you know, university policy is we have to kick you out of the institution because you've been on academic probation twice, and not only have you been on academic probation, but you're also like, at that point, I should have been going into my senior year, but I was basically a first semester sophomore based on my credits because I changed my major 3 times. And so, and I audited classes, I withdrew from classes. So like my transcript in undergrad is horrible. And so he looked at me and he was like, we got to, you know, whatever. So my father was like, listen, you know, he was like, look, and my father, he's a whole nother story, man. But, you know, retired lieutenant colonel from the Air Force. He was actually the commander over at at Andrews Air Force Base at the time of the 113th Squadron. There were like F-16s sitting in his office was like in a hangar. Like, it was awesome. He had like planes, like fighter jets just chilling right there. And so anyways, he looked at Freddie Vaughns and he was like, listen, this is my son. My son gonna do exactly what I tell him to do. He's going to not only is it not going to take him as long as you said it was going to take to graduate, he's going to do it in half the time. He's going to go to school in the winter, summer, fall. He's going to take maximum amount of credits, and he's going to do this thing because I said he will, and that's what he's going to do. And then he looked at me and was like, right? I was like, yes, sir. And then so Dr. Vaughns looked at me and he said, listen, black man, he said, this is your second chance. Don't jack it up. And you know, after that it was history, man. I went on from there to I hadn't gone to class yet. So mind you, he was a Newt, you know, member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And he looked out for me because, you know, he was my brother, and just because of the type of man that he was, it didn't really even matter whether he was my brother or not. And so after that, I basically became just motivated because somebody believed in me more than I believed in myself, right? I felt like if I was gonna let them down, you know what I'm saying? And so after that, man, I went and I had to. They worked out arrangements. However they did it, they talked to all my professors. 'Cause my professors hated me at this point because I ain't show up to class.
Yeah.
I was disrespectful. I was a jerk, asshole, all of this stuff. And so they worked that out, and they was like, "Listen, I get all of that, but you know." They basically just made some Don moves and was like, yo, he going to do whatever. And so they said, all right, well, you let Reggie turn in every single assignment that he missed, and then allow him to whatever grade he gets on the midterm, it's going to be his grade in the class from then on. And I was like, oh, all right, bet, let's go. That's all I needed. I just needed. All right, so I did everything. My logic tech, but they've been through 11 chapters, and the exam was at the end of the week. I read through 11 chapters and then aced the exam. I had knocked out all of my assignments. I was in 5 classes. I had to do the same thing for 5 classes. I did all of that in 1 week because my father was probably gonna whoop my head. Yeah. At that point, my dad was fed up. He didn't care if I was 20 years old. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna knock you out. You think I'm playing with you?" And I was like, "Nah, man, don't knock me out. I got you." So that semester I went from a 0.0 GPA to a 3.75 at the end of that semester. Ended up being my best academic year in undergraduate. And what that did for me, my confidence, I realized that I wasn't stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like for so many times, like us black young men, like try to like belittle us or break us down and think that you stupid. Like, oh, just because you got a grade, like they equate your grade to your intellect, and that's wild. You know what I'm saying? That's not even true, because the way that it really works is I had, it's a part of my book where I talk about my conversation that I was having with my best friend Marcus. And it dawned on me one day when we were a little bit older, because him and I have done, and let me take a second to say, they just opened up a yoga studio in Laurel, him and his wife, Tamisha Jackson. And I need you all to go and definitely check out their, matter of fact, let me make sure I can tell you the exact.
Hey, why are you pulling that up?
Because I've been rapping, man. Y'all
no,
I can talk.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Gwen Park Middle School, Gwen Park High School, and then Bowie State University.
What did you graduate with? I'm getting to the 6 figures from 0.0 to 6 figures, and what did you graduate with, if you graduated?
So I graduated in 2012 from undergrad in December, and I got a 2.6 GPA, because mind you, like my transcript was jacked up, and so no matter how many grades like you get after that, like once you get a certain amount of credits, your grades is job messed up. And so fast forward, I started going on interviews and they wasn't trying to hire me. I couldn't get a daggone job. And so after that, every time I got to the question where they said, well, what's your GPA? I was like, 2.6. They was like, oh, well, we found another candidate that's a little bit better than you. And I was like, man, fuck y'all.
What's the name of the company, real quick?
Oh, yeah. So the name of the company is go follow Sank of Yoga, SANKOFA. YOGA on Instagram.
Yeah, yoga company in black owned in Lower Maryland.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, like so far we've been talking, you've already shouted out about 4 people.
Oh yeah, I'm not done yet.
That's real. Let me say, yeah, man. That's real friendship right there.
I'm not done yet. Man. I'm not
so
done
6
yet.
figures. When you first made your 6 figures, what was it in? And
so it's an interesting story about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So the story about the 6 figures is the way that I got there first. When I graduated from undergrad, when I was still in my master's degree program, and I got a job with USAID. As a government contractor. That story is crazy too, but that's another time. But to get to the 6 figures, to answer your question, I was making $80K a year, and I was on contract, and I thought that was good money. But the way government contracting works is the government contractor makes way more money than they give you, right? So your position may be worth, if you're making 80, your position may be worth $150,000 to $200,000. And they're taking that margin off top of your money. And so I didn't know that at the time when that happened. But the next thing that occurred was the person that was one of the women that was working next to me, one of the people, a few of the people there that was working with me, I felt like I was doing a lot more than them. And, you know, no offense to them or whatever, but hey, it is what it is. And so I was pretty much running that joint. I designed so many processes that are still institutionalized there to this day, of the things that I have done there. And so she slipped up and told me she was making 110 grand. Right. And we were in the same position, same role. So the government contracting company flipped. And when it did, I went to my boss and I said, hey, I made a mistake, a negotiating mistake. One of the 10 books that I'm going to write is about, you know, negotiating salary. But I made a mistake here and I said, hey, listen, you know, so-and-so is making 110 grand. I'm doing more than her. I'm doing this. I'm doing that and the third, blah, blah, blah. Her. Yeah, like I trained her. I was doing my boss's job for real. Like she was new. She came on and I was doing her job, right? So I'm sitting here like, listen, I'm making 80K. I want to make 105,000. And she was like, all right, well, you're going to either make 80K or, you know, nothing. I was like, more or less what she said to me. So I walked out. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I went downstairs, and in the building, they have security guards. I was talking to him. He was like, yeah, man, I'm doing security. You know, he was like, you don't really know that. He was like, you know, a lot of us, man, we making like 150 grand. Like the security guards that's securing the building, they make like, at least like, they make like 30 an hour. Right, plus overtime. They making like 50 an hour. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them got 2-3 jobs. Like, shout out to all my guards out there that's doing their thing. And so after that, right, I was like, I went back upstairs and I sat there. My bad, my ring right here. So I sat there and I said, all right, yo, I ain't nobody's slave, man. So it's a subsection in the chapter of Six Figures called, it's the first subsection that says you're nobody's slave. And so what I realized was like, what the fuck am I doing, man? I make $80,000 a year. I'm only $20,000 away from making 6 figures. If my goal is truly to make 6 figures, then I'm 20 grand away. 20 grand. If I go work at McDonald's right now, I got motherfucking 6 figures. For real. But it's like we so focused on getting like all of it from one place. Like, that's wild. Like, you a slave for real. Oh, they not gonna give me 6 figures, then I'm just not gonna have it. Man, fuck that. Right? I ain't nobody's slave. I ain't nobody's pawn, punk, or bitch.
So you bounce.
You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't bounce. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to use emotional intelligence, right? I ain't about to walk away, right? I got, you know, my girlfriend at the time. I'm trying to make her my fiance. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get her a nice little rock on her hands. You know what I'm saying? So she can have my unborn baby at that time. You know what I'm saying? Which ended up all happening. You feel me? So I was like, all right. Well, I went downstairs and said, my man, what I got to do, you know, get on with this? And he was like, here's my man, you know, Cirrus International Security. His name's James Wiggins, and he has a security training company, and he's an older brother. This brother owns property in Belize. This man is one of the most prolific people that you're gonna meet, and he's my mentor as well. And so he said, listen, young man, I see what you're trying to do. I'm gonna take you under my wing. I got you. And so he trained me up. Right now, to this day, right, I'm a private detective, right? I have my license to carry, you know, firearms in pretty much every state, including DC. You know, I'm like one of the most I'm probably like the Black James Bond for real. Like I'm really like real live. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm qualified. I'm a marksman. You know, with the federal government, Department of Homeland Security. I done been through that. You know, anyways, I can't even talk about all of that. But what I'm saying is, damn, I was about to. But what I'm saying is, so after that, I went ahead and got that overnight job, and so then I started really hustling. Right, I was like, I bet. So I was working one job, and what I would do was I went from overnight. I went from basically I worked 8 to 5, and then on the weekends I pretty much worked like 12-hour shifts because they gave me the trash joints when you don't have no seniority. They gonna give you like the most terrible
like Saturday,
schedule, and so
mid-shift.
So I ended up working like 30-hour days because on Sunday I would go into work at I would get off work at 7 a.m. after working the whole shift, and I would come back at 7 p.m. and work till 7 a.m. on my security job, and then from there I would go over to the Ronald Reagan building and work on that job at like 8 o'clock and then get off at 4 and then, you know what I'm saying, do it all again. But I was making, so the crazy thing is like the woman that told me she wasn't going to give me that money, right? First of all, screw her, because she fired me on some BS, which was real wild. So you wild for that. I shouldn't even said that, man, but I mean, it's been on my chest for a minute. It's a bunch of people out there, but I ain't even gonna put that energy out there. We gonna move on, man. And see, that's why I got my wife. She should be here, because she need to tell me what not to say. Anyways, but y'all family, so it's like when I get to rapping, man, we're gonna have to talk more off camera.
Yeah.
I can't even do my people like that. I'm wild, man. But anyway, so I bring that up. Multiple reasons, White. And it's crazy too. Matter of fact, I get into it because I believe she was one of the racists, and she didn't know she was a racist, right? She said so many things to me, like during my time, and even everyone in the office just stopped and looked at her like, what? Like, it's crazy because, all right, before I get there, I'll finish the 6-figure portion, right? So I ended up, she was a GS-15, right, which they make about 150 grand. Great money. You know, 140, whatever, between 140 and 150 grand. You can look it up. I was making 80 grand, right? And then after that, I was making 70 grand on my night job. So you add that up, that's 150 grand. And she was probably making about 145. So the woman that told me that I couldn't make it, right, I ain't her fucking slave. Now, on some humble stuff, I'm making way more money than, I'm not way more money, but I'm making more money than she is, right? So then I messed up too, because I was just young and dumb. I sent her, like, I got proposed to my wife, and I sent my team and stuff, like a picture of the ring. And then she tells somebody else, she was like, oh, we're paying him too much money. Huh? Like, how you gonna tell me, like, I'm trying to take care of my family, get married and all of this stuff, whatever, paying me too much money. Another story, man, I used to live in Philadelphia, and in Philly, I was telling my coworkers, I was like, man, you know, y'all have fire drills and stuff like that everywhere. Like, we used to have drive-by drills when I was a kid, because we would walk, it's a city, so we would walk on field trips. And so during these field trips, like, they would give us go through drills and stuff like that, where you got to do drive-by, you know, like hide in the bush, hide behind, whatever. And my sister actually had to experience that one time. And so in the office, man, we was talking about birthday parties or something like that. And one of the girls was like, yeah, I was going to do like an Olympics birthday party, you know, where, you know, when I was a kid, I had like Olympics birthday parties, and we did flips and all of this stuff and gave out medals. And then so Alana goes, so Reggie, are you going to have, this was like a day later, right? After she went home and talked to all her peoples about it, you know what I'm saying? She came back and was like, oh, Reggie, are you going to have a drive-by party for your birthday? When you were a kid, did you have drive-by birthday parties? I was like, why would I do that? Just looked at her, and she was just like, I'm like, man, like, how you just go about yourself to say it like that? Like, so it's like, I done went through so much in my life, man. I don't want to put it out there from a perspective of like, I don't like white people. I hate white people. I love them. I love all people. But I used to live in Tennessee, and when I was living in Tennessee in the fourth grade, the librarian in Fairview Elementary in Blount County stamped, and with a rubber stamp, like this joint was printed up and made in red ink, Ku Klux Klan, on the back of my standardized test score.
What?
My father still has it. Right?
That's wild.
The military had to pull my dad. That's why we ended up in D.C. The military had to bring my father up to the DC area, because my father called the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan a punk.
Yeah.
He said, because you a punk, because if you was a real man, you would sit down and have coffee with me instead of attacking my children. And so that's kind of what I come from. Before I went down there, we was in Philly. My father, he gave me a picture of the Ku Klux Klan in one hand. And then in his other hand, he had a 44 Magnum. And he was like, you see this? This the Ku Klux Klan. My parents, man, they used to make me watch Rosewood, all of this stuff, man. I was like 4 and 5 years old. They was making me looking at like lynchings and people that was getting hanged, all types, like dogs. Like I saw so much gruesome stuff, but it really happened. But because we was moving to Tennessee in the Bible Belt and Ku Klux Klan territory, KKK, whatever. Like this is before it was like all trumped out and all of this other stuff. Like it was this was like really happening. Like this is 1997.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so my pops was, my pops was like a gangster from Philly. And he like, listen, I got y'all. I'm gonna let you know that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the police kicked in the door in Tennessee. Me and my sister was home by ourselves. The police kicked in the door and pointed their guns at us. Cause like we wasn't answering the door. Cause my parents told us not to answer the door. So we didn't answer the door. We was hiding in the shower.
Who paid for the door? Who paid for the repairs?
I don't know. I was 78 years old. I wasn't even thinking about that.
It's just you and your sister, siblings?
Yeah, just my sister and I were 18 months apart.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
You got a lot of stories. You know, saying we crunching with time here. I want to get to the meat of stuff.
We're gonna do 10 of these. I'm putting out. So I want to plug. Shameless plug again, right? I'm gonna plug the book, right? So we got The Pursuit of Greatness coming out, which is actually a series of 10 books. The first book is from a 0.0 GPA to 6 figures.
Yep. Out right now. Go cop that.
It's out right now. By the time this comes out, I'll probably be finishing up my second book. And Stuck in the Middle podcast, the first podcast to put us on, right? And so the thing that we're going to do, and we've talked about it before the show starts, I'm gonna just go out and say it.
For sure.
We are going to have this podcast is going to be the first podcast that I do for every book that I release. We're going to do all 10 books, and some of them we're going to do in Rome, Italy. Which is where I'm moving.
You put it out there already. You're moving to Rome.
Y'all moving to Rome, Italy, baby.
Yeah, man. Speak a little bit about that. Why?
My wifey got a dream job out there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm supporting her. My wife is one of the most prolific, smartest women that you're ever going to meet. She has 2 degrees in accounting. She has a master's degree in accounting from the University. All of the Terps out there. My whole University of Maryland crew, shout out to all of them. So she's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. She's just brilliant. Like this woman got bored with taking a CPA. She passed 2 parts of the exams. This was before I met her, and then like let them lapse over, so she missed the time or whatever. But she was I don't know. But at the end of the day, maybe that was God telling her, she was following her dreams. She was following her heart. You know what I'm saying? And hey, it's done well for her because she's taking me, you know what I'm saying? So with her to the other side of the world.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing, of course, family and you got to support your significant other.
Yeah.
What happens to, the businesses and everything that you have here?
Man, the business listen, man, we global, baby. What's my man? Lil Baby, he got that song Global, you know what I'm saying? He was like, got my baby Gucci strollers. We going global, baby. You know what I'm saying? So we taking this enterprise worldwide, right? One of my companies is called Arze International LLC. I've had that company for 5 years, right? I've had my first LLC when I was 18 years old. I own 3 companies at the moment, right? Listen, I'm gonna say it right now. My wife and I are gonna be billionaires, right? We're gonna see a Billy, right, in our lifetime. In my son's lifetime, we're gonna see a Billy together. Because we a power couple. And we gonna kill the game. We killing the game, right? And I'm not playing, man. I do things with deliberate intentions, right? The power of intentions is so prolific and so true, man. I also want to take the time, man, to say rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, man, because Nipsey, man, you know what I'm saying. Not only does the marathon continues, but it's the marathon continues. It's TMC TPG, baby. We all we got. You know what I'm saying. It's the pursuit of greatness. On top of the marathon continues, man, because we're not gonna let that thing ride, man. That man is so impactful, to me in his life, right? I'm not even gonna speak about the death, because he's still here with me. You know what I'm saying? Because that energy that he's put into the world has not dissipated. It's not gone away, right? So I never even met the brother,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I don't know him from nothing, but I know, the things that he stood for, man. I took it upon myself to go out there and do my research and try to listen to every single interview that he's ever done. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much from him. Some of the books and gems and stuff that he dropped on the Breakfast Club interview, that he said Lauren London had had told him to get, and I'm an Audible junkie. I've been an Audible junkie, but that book was called. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. I'm gonna look.
Yeah, I remember the book. I just don't remember the title.
It was called The Way of the Superior Man.
Right.
I finished that book in a day. The day that I saw that he said that, man, I went and got that book and read it. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, listen, I'm in this thing to win it. I'm not playing around. I got a vendetta. Like I said, me and my wife, we gonna see a Billy before we die, right? I could be, like I said, I'm an enigma. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing about me. It's like I'm a strong businessman. I'm very polished. I'm very clean. You know, I can come off. I can put on a suit. I can do all of that. You know, but at the same time, I'm still a little bit. You know, I come from where I come from, and how I do it. And I don't think I mentioned. I want to say shout out to the Noops, man. Easy Rock. I know we running out of time. The Epsilon Sigma chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. You know, founded on the campus of Bowie State University. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right?
It's like he got all written in his head, man. He's just reciting like a book, bro.
Yeah,
but continue, man.
Man, at the end of the day, man, my team is so strong, man. Like my team is like, bro.
Speak a little bit about the part of the team, man, like collaboration, because I know you've collaborated with a lot of people and you have a solid team behind you, man. Speak a little bit about that.
Man, honestly, it's just energy, man. Like we have done so much with so little. Over the past decade, right? I have done and worked with so many people. Like I said, I've been in studios with Rich Harrison. I've been in this, CCB. Y'all from around here, y'all know a little bit about Go-Go, like the whole Whip Wop, This Love, all of that down in Night Flight Studios. I was an engineer assistant on that, right? My uncle Scotty Beats, God rest his soul, he was murdered in 2006 in Landover, Largo area, right? And so he was my father mentored him into the music industry, right? He gave my father his first gold record, which was Room 112, Room 112. And I remember him giving that to my father. He always told my dad that he was going to give him his first gold record. And so man, it's game time, man. Like I said, man. My team, we've been in this thing for years before me. Like this predates me. You know what I'm saying? And so what we're doing is we're taking it a step further. We are just going all in. We're going all out with this thing.
Yeah, man. So in your book, right, from 0.0 GPA to six figures, man. The first chapter, like what stood out for me, man, is how you structure the chapters, right? So let's just speak a little bit about the first chapter and the last chapter.
Okay.
Embracing rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's the very first chapter, and the last chapter is ending six figures, man. Like, just for somebody who's listening and who wants to pick up the book, like, why did you start with that and end with? Why did you start with embracing rock bottom and end with earning six figures?
Well, it's a true story, like and it's I had to start from the beginning. And it took me 3 years to write this book, and it was challenging because of the emotion and the therapy that I put into it, right? I went through some serious things, and I, was finding myself like playing the victim, right? And so it's like you gotta embrace the pain, right? You gotta embrace it and have to understand that, hey, listen, that what I went through is not me, right? Fabulous say, my story just gets better when it gets to the end. So when I'm at my worst, I know it's not the end. Fab said that. And so for me, it was like, all right, this ain't it for me. And I had to recover mentally. I had to recover spiritually. I had to recover physically. I had to recover from that. And I just documented the strategies and things that I put in place to do that, because I know there's some people in my life that I know personally that have gone through similar experiences that I have. And, the conversations and things like that we have had, I'm just like, man, I got to put this into a book because I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? And God, you don't know when it's gonna be your time. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it was just like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put it all into a book. And it ended with six figures. It's just like the crescendo, right? I'm a musician as well. I play 6 different instruments, and it's like, I read, write, understand the theory of music. I went to school on a full music scholarship, at Bowie State, and then I turned it down the second year. But the next thing is just that, like, the whole book is a crescendo. It just walks you through all the way to the moment when I, like, really understood about how I made the money, because money is not, it's not about money, right? Like is we chase money. I found myself chasing money, and for the first time in my life now, it's like I'm not chasing money no more. I'm chasing value, and I understand. It took me until my wife was leaving. I made I was making $250,000 a year, and I'm sitting here faced with a decision. You know, do I stay here while my wife and my 2-year-old son go over to Rome, Italy, and, you know, leave, and then I'll catch up to them later, or do I stay here because it's $250,000? That's the most money I've ever made in my life, 250 grand. Or is it more is my love for my wife and my son and the time that I'm going to spend with them more valuable than money? And that's when it all just clicked. And that was like, that was happening in June of 2019, and it's now what, August?
Yep.
August,
Basically, yeah.
2019. And so for me, that was the moment in my life, and then that's why, like, I had to start by thanking my wife, because it's like she and the experiences that her and I are having by raising our son together and building this life together is causing me to find my true purpose in life and myself, and it's understanding that life and value in money is not a thing. Like, money is just an idea. Like my man Landon Milbourne said, you know, money, they print it every day. Money shouldn't be an issue. They print it every day. Like, Landon Milbourne said that, man. Check that out, A Million Wins. He's also an author as well.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a book. He lives in Atlanta with his wife, Danielle the Realtor, on Instagram. He's A Million Wins on IG. And you know, he actually was a professional athlete. He played ball overseas. And he actually, this brother owns his own sports agency. Like, he owns the sports agency.
Word.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think it's called, like, Next Level Management. Like, the dude is a prolific brother, man. Like, the conversations that him and I have, like, he actually mentored me on how to, like, self-publish and the things that I needed to do to put my book out. Like, I hit him up. He was like, yo, you need to go ahead, get your ISBN number, because if you don't, then somebody else going to own it. This is how you do this. This is how you do this, and blah, blah, blah.
Speak a little bit about that, man, for anybody who wants to, like, publish a book, you know, self-publish. Like,
Yeah.
What are the steps? What do you need to consider?
First of all, you need to write it. and then secondly, you know, just do your research, man. I basically just kind of went and designed my book cover at a low cost. I found somebody to do it, and then from there you go to BOWKER, which is like myidentifiers.com or something like that, and that's where you can purchase your own ISBN number. And then from there, Amazon has Amazon KDP, which is like their platform that allows you to self-publish. And so from there, after you self-publish, it's a process. I'm still going through the process. Well, actually, the book is out now, so go and buy that. But actually, I'm going through that process for my second book of just, it's a continuing thing where you have to kind of bring in. Maybe that's the whole thing that I can actually we may be able to do is just like break that down, because I think it does take. And I'm still purging the process, right? Doing it, I'm making mistakes, but I'm not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
And so it's like, hey, let's make some mistakes and figure it out along the way.
There's a movie or film attached to this book.
Yes. Oh my God, it's epic. It's going to be epic. I went back to, you know, everywhere that I've been in this Prince George's County area that made me. I went to Gwen Park Middle School. I filmed there. I went to Gwen Park High School. I filmed there. I went to Cheltenham Woods, which is where I grew up. I filmed there. I went to Bowie State University. I filmed there. I went to Night Flight Studios where I recorded with my uncle, Uncle Scotty Beats, rest in peace. I filmed there. And so I'm making like a movie, Christopher Nolan style. And I'm actually, there's another movie that I want you all to go watch that I am directing for BMW and Mini of Sterling, in conjunction with the First Baptist Church of Glen Arden. I'm directing a film for them, and the film is called The Gift. And it's about giving from your heart.
Where can people watch it?
People can watch it on Mini and BMW of Sterling's Instagram, and at sterlingmotorcars.com, and on my Instagram at Reginald Bullock 409. Or you can watch it on my website at reginaldbullock.com.
Is the movie coming out same time with the book? Book dropped July 27th, your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Movie coming out same time, or is that a later date?
The movie will be out the same time.
Man, and that's your birthday as well.
That is my 30th birthday.
Dirty 30, man. Why did you pick to drop the book on your birthday?
So I looked up on Instagram. There was this brother that it was like a headline that he retired his wife. I forget his Instagram. He retired his wife, and they're traveling around the world. They have all these businesses that are automated. And he said that, and I'm in IT, so it made so much sense to me that you the algorithms work in your favor on your birthday, right? So if you think about it, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever platform is out there, it says Reginald Bullock has a birthday. Go tell him happy birthday. And so all of these people flood your timeline. It's basically a paid ad that's unpaid for. Like, it's paid for by your parents because they birthed you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like so the algorithm drives traffic to your website automatically to your page. And so all you have to do is try to monetize that by having some content to actually convert over to say, hey, click on this link, or purchase my book, or listen to Stuck in the Middle podcast.
Facts.
So
hey man, that's
You gonna drop all your books on your birthday?
yeah. Hey, I'm thinking about dropping a book on my birthday.
do it, man. Do it. We'll see. Well, we're purging the process, so we'll see if this one becomes a New York Times bestseller or Pulitzer Prize winner.
Yeah. For that, what I'm saying, like this, a lot of kids out there right now listening to this. That's what I'm saying, like who
I cursed way too much on that.
No. By kids, I mean what I'm saying, like entrepreneurs or people aspiring to that 6-figure or business.
Yeah.
And you don't been through it. Speak about the struggle and how to overcome that, and just might not be 6 figures next week or in 2 years, but how to make a life or living for himself comfortably.
Man, work ethic. That's it. You gotta have determination. You gotta have some guts, and you gotta have some work ethic. And when I say work ethic, I mean you gotta be able to hustle like you homeless or something. You gotta be able to get up and be like, listen here, I don't care where I'm at, I don't care what it takes, whatever it takes, this is going to happen. You gotta will it. And you gotta just know that you're gonna come across some struggles. You're gonna come across some super hard times, some really challenging things that's gonna be like, like, man, like I shouldn't even be doing this. But from there, you just gotta overcome, man. And then, one thing I want to talk about with that is fear, right? A lot of times fear drives us and fear holds us back, and people think that you shouldn't be fearful. And that's another concept that I break down in my book. And I said, well, that's stupid, right? Because fear is a human nature, and we also wouldn't have words in our English or human language or whatever as courage, right, and bravery, right? These words wouldn't exist. Superheroes wouldn't exist because all they say is like superheroes are brave, superheroes are courageous, right? So it's because of fear. Like, bravery can only be present in the face of fear. That's overcoming. Like, that's what bravery is, right? It's overcoming a fear of something. Same thing with courage. You're courageous. You come forward with courage to face something. Like, look at the lion in The Wizard of Oz. The lion was fearful, right? And then he was courageous. You know what I'm saying? The cowardly lion. And so fear is a natural thing that we have to deal with. But at the end of the day, do not let it consume you. Do not let it drive you. Understand how to create and design your own paradigm. Read your books, right? Read my book. Read all 10 of them when they come out. Read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Read A Million Wins by Landon Milbourne. All of these books, man, like, have knowledge for years and years and years. The 48 Laws of Power, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, or True North.
The Outliers.
As a Man Thinketh. I'm well read, man. And so the thing about it is it takes time to amass knowledge. But if you think about what an education is, right? Think about going to school. What are you really paying for? Like, oh, I want to go to this university, and then you go to the bookstore and the book costs $500, right? That same book you can probably find for free, or at least the contents, if you do your research, you can find it anywhere for free. But they're paying us. That's why the educational system is so fucked up, because they're giving us a premium on these goddamn books that you can get anywhere now, right? So if someone is truly determined, they can find each book that's going to have in the course catalog of an entire degree program, and they can learn their own degree without having the piece of paper. And so it's like you could be the smartest and most prolific person and not have a grade, have ever gone to school. It's like that is an institution now designed to enslave us, to continue to be broke and to make money. And so it's like that needs to change. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I know I got some student loan debt still that I'm trying to pay off. And I'm going to pay that off because I'm going to be a billionaire and it'll be gone by then at least.
Man, is there something we haven't touched on that you absolutely want the viewers to know?
Yeah, I want to ask him what's the most expensive thing he's ever bought.
My wife's engagement ring.
Oh, man. Okay.
And then our wedding. But which was all paid for in cash.
Sweet. That's the way to do it, man.
So it's like, I paid cash for a ring. And, the thing about everybody trying to get married and get, all of this stuff or whatever. First of all, fellas, do your research on these diamonds. Don't do your research on these diamonds. Don't go set your girl up out there. And it takes time, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying going out there and get her the biggest diamond in the world, but put some thought into it. I went through 30 diamonds, right? I went to my boy Jerry, and actually I ain't gonna reveal my connect right now. You know what I'm saying? But my man, if you hit me up, DM me, and I will let you know my guy, man, and he took care of me. I've actually bought multiple rings from there for her since then. But yeah, I mean, I went through 30 stones. I understood the dimensions that I was looking for in her ring. I understood the colors, and I understood her desires for what she wanted. We've been together for 6 years. We've been married for 2. And so we have been talking about getting married and engaged since the first day that I met her. And, when I met her at Stan's Cookout over here in Bowie on 4th of July in 2013. And it was fireworks. And she actually, I was chilling, doing my thing, grilling and everything like that. And she actually approached me. And
something you put in that chicken, man.
And it was. I had my shirt off and everything. I was cooking on the grill, looking real sexy, looking like a snack. It was looking like a whole meal out that thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So she was like, she hit me up, and she came back that night, and then we went out to Allen Pond in Bowie, and she sat on my lap, and we had a conversation. And it was that conversation that I fell in love with her. We basically just discussed, I was just getting out of a relationship. Well, I've been out of a relationship. I wasn't really looking for anything, in particular, but I wasn't closed off to actually finding something if it organically happens. And she was basically saying the same thing, and then we was talking about our goals and aspirations. I was an intern when I met her. I had $0. I was broke. I met her. She had her own Beamer, right? She had a Beamer coupe. She had her own condo. All her girls, man. Her girls be doing it. Her girls doing their thing. Like, all of them is black queens, man. Like, they killing the game, and have been killing the game. She's 5 years older than me, and so I was an intern. I was broke. I know what she saw in me, kind of, but I kind of don't at the same time. 'Cause I just had the swag, I had the demeanor and everything like that, but I ain't had no money. But that's what value is, right? That's where it comes back. So I guess she saw the value in me, and she wasn't really looking at the money. And so from there, man, that woman helped me build my entire empire, our empire that we have now. And we're continuing to grow that empire. And so, yeah, man, like I said, that's why I started it, by saying, Kai Christmas Bullock is the love of my life, man. And I know that where I am because of her and what we've built together. And, our beautiful son that we have is amazing. Reggie is awesome, man. It's just like watching God at work, man. Like, you know, just the whole process of her being pregnant, and then now, you know, him being 2 years old and playing with him, and him running around, talking back to you, jumping off like steps, like crazy stuff that he does. I mean, he's just like a straight up boy. It is scary sometimes, like the adrenaline rush that he chases. And apparently I was the same way. So my parents tell me it's payback. My whole family tell me it's payback, man. But you know, I also want to give a shout out to Gloria Lee in New York City, who works for WBLS and Hot 97. That's my aunt, and she is one of the most prolific, and has been one of the most prolific inspirations to my life. She is in advertising and marketing, and she has done some amazing things in her career, and she's just getting started. And so I'm so proud of the things that she's doing, and I just want to thank her for helping me. You know, and then I mean, it's just so many people, man, that have touched my life and been a part of my life, that have allowed me to gain the wisdom and knowledge. Like I said, man, I'm an enigma, you know, because I could sit here and be cursing and doing all of this other stuff, but at the same time, man, you know, I'm really about the business of helping our people and helping, you know, levitate, you know, our black community up out of the mud that we stuck in right now. You know, and I really feel like I'm the one to really get on the stage and do that. Like it's in my heart right now to get out there and get this hustle on, because God gave me a vision that I'm gonna write these 10 books. I woke up the other day, God gave me a vision. He said, I need you to go and film this movie. I said, all right, I got you. I told my wife, she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm about to go film my movie. So I was like, God told me to go film it. She was like, what? It's like, all right. She was like, all right, well, I'm going to get my hair done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, man, shout out all my boys, man. Like, I really, you know, love the relationship that my wife has built with my friends and my fraternity brothers. She's built relationships with their wives, and you know, our kids. You know, it's crazy in the 10 years of friendship that, you know, these guys at one point were my big brothers, and now our kids are playing together, you know, and our wives are like, I didn't even know my wife back then. I didn't even have a son, and now, you know, my son is best friends with his son, and they've been playing, you know, and all of the children like in our village that we're raising together. You know, we have a few more babies on the way, you know, so prayers up to you know, I'm not gonna put everybody's name out there.
They expecting mothers, you know,
yeah, man. That. Shout out to y'all, know who y'all are, man. You know, I got y'all prayers in my heart, man. And you know, and as we speak, I am in Rome, Italy right now, right? And I miss all my people, man. I love you all, man. I just want y'all to know, man, that my wife, my son, you know, no time and space can ever tear us apart. No time and no distance in this world, in this universe, right, is going to separate the energy that we have together. And so I want us to all just continue to bless our people, right? We are stuck in the middle, all right, and we got to get out, right? And so what we're doing, man, is these some of the most prolific brothers, right, that I have known, right? I got a text message randomly. I'm like, man, who is this texting me? What's going on? And then to come into the studio of Stuck in the Middle, I wish you guys can see this, man. This show right here is going to go up. It's going to be global. It's going to be international. It's going to be national. It's going to be a syndicated podcast. Hey, yeah. And this show here is going to be the next big thing. Matter of fact, it is a big thing. The world is going to understand why it's a big thing. And so I am so happy, and I'm so thankful and gracious that you two brothers have given me the opportunity to be on this show.
You're gonna be back, man. You know what I'm saying? We got 9 more.
We got 9 more.
We done got a, you know, solid good hour out of you, man. It's just been a great conversation, man. And well wishes in Rome. And you know, I know everything back here. You know, you got a solid team to go, you know, handle business back here. So
global, baby. Yeah.
Reginald Bullock, man, it's been a pleasure, bro.
Thank you, man. I got one more shout out to give.
Sorry, go ahead.
I want to shout out, you know, Shawnee Tape, right? water. You
Yes.
know, we're helping out at Top 8 Cares. Sean is a very prolific brother as well. You guys are probably going to be seeing him soon. So I want to say, everybody go follow 5 of Diamonds on Instagram, Diamonds with a Z, and go look at him. Go look at J.Carter. And I want you to look at underscore GP21, which is Greg Polion, which is my cousin who's coming down. We're about to work out. He went to y'all saw the movie He Got Game and Abraham Lincoln High School in Brooklyn from BK, from up top. My boy, he graduated from there. He just graduated from college as well. Now he's about to be a professional athlete playing overseas. So I want y'all to go follow him, go support him. You know, it's Team Bullock, it's Team everybody, and we going up. Stuck in the middle, baby.
Yes, sir. Hey, man. That's a perfect way to end it.
Yeah, man.
Stuck in the Middle podcast. And we out.
We out.